In the last class, we have seen about the effect of different capacitors on frequency response of the amplifier. In this class, we are going to see about the expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit and short circuit current gain of the CE amplifier circuit. Okay, why we are going for expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit means the normal hybrid pi equivalent circuit or H parameter analysis does not give the exact result at very high frequencies. In order to get the exact results at high frequencies, we are going to derive expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit. Okay, let us see the cross section of the NPN transistor for a classic integrated circuit design. So this is the cross section of an NPN type of transistor, so which was integrated in a IC format. So this is the CE configuration, and here if you see, the CBE terminals are external collector, base and emitter terminals, and here E dash, B dash, C dash are the internal emitter, internal base and internal collector terminals, and this entire NPN transistor was fabricated on N plus buried layer. So here C, B and E terminals are the external connections to the transistor, and the C dash, B dash, E dash points are idealized internal collector, base and emitter region. Okay, so here C, B, E terminals are the external collector, base and emitter terminal, and C dash, B dash, E dash are the points, which means that internal emitter, base and collector terminals. Okay, so the expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit can be divided into three parts. So one is from base to emitter, another one is a collector to emitter, another one is a collector to base. Okay, like that we will derive the expanded hybrid pi model. Thereafter we can combine the three parts so as to get complete hybrid pi equivalent circuit. Okay, so now this is the expanded hybrid pi model between the base to emitter. Okay, so here B is the external base terminal and B dash is the internal base terminal. Okay, there is a series resistance, base series resistance or base spreading resistance, which was represented as RB. Okay, the resistance RB is a base series resistance between the external base terminal B to the internal base terminal B dash. Okay, so this RB was connected between the external base B to the internal base B dash. The B dash E dash junction, which means that the internal base and internal emitter junction has been forward biased. Okay, usually in the transistor, input side circuit is forward biased, output side circuit is reverse biased. So that the input side circuit we are containing the base to emitter junction, that should be forward biased. Okay, so the internal base and the internal emitters also will be forward biased, so that it will forms one diodes. Okay, the diode will contain some forward biased diffusion resistance as well as the forward biased junction capacitance. Okay, these are represented with the R pi and C pi. Here R pi means the forward biased diffusion resistance. Okay, so because of the forward bias of the diode, so which offers some resistance, that is called as R pi, and the depletion layer in the forward biased region will be act as a dielectric for the parallel plate capacitor, so which forms some capacitance, that is called as C pi here. So that as the base to emitter junction has been forward biased, it offers one resistance and one capacitance. And finally, there is a resistance which was connected between the internal emitter terminal to the external emitter terminal E dash to E, that is called as emitter series resistance, which is just like a base series resistance RB. Okay, so REX is the resistance which is connected between the internal emitter to external emitter terminal, and this value of this REX is in order of 1 or 2 ohms, so that we can neglect that from the equivalent circuits. Okay, so next we are going to see the second part of our hybrid pi equivalent circuit, so which is between the collector terminal to the emitter terminal. Okay, here C and C dash terminals are the external collector terminal and C dash is the internal collector terminal, and E dash is the internal emitter terminal. Okay, here we already know there is a dependent current source GMV pi which is in between the collector terminal to the emitter terminal. So this source is connected between the internal collector to internal emitter terminal. There is a output resistance R naught This is due to the early effect which was in parallel with the GM-V pi, the series resistance RC which was connected between the external collector terminal to the internal collector terminal. Here the dependent current source GM-V pi is the transistor collector current, okay, and which was controlled by the internal base to emitter voltage, which is VB dash E dash, and the resistance R naught is the inverse of the output conductance G naught and is primarily due to the early effect. We already know how it is, and this RC is the series resistance which was connected between the external collector to the internal collector terminal. Okay, so here CS is the junction capacitance. Okay, as we already know, the output side circuit is reverse biased. That reverse bias offers more depletion region. That more depletion region offers some capacitance. Okay, so because that depletion region will act as a dielectric material and forms one capacitor. Okay, so the CS is the junction capacitance of a reverse biased collector to substrate junction, and RC is the collector series resistance, and R naught is the output resistance. We already know all these things. Okay, this is the second part of our hybrid pi equivalent circuit, and if you go for the third part, so which is in between the internal base to the internal collector terminal. Okay, so which contains the two components, one is R mu, another one is the C mu. Okay, these R mu and C mu are called as a feedback resistor and feedback capacitor because they are connected between output to the input, which means that from the collector terminal to the base terminal. Okay, so here B dash C dash junctions are reverse biased, and the capacitance C mu is the reverse biased junction capacitance, and R mu is the reverse biased diffusion resistance. Okay, as the B dash and C dash sections are reverse biased, it offers some resistance and capacitance. Those are R mu and C mu, where R mu is called as the reverse biased diffusion resistance and C mu is called as the reverse biased junction capacitance. So because of reverse bias, the depletion width will be high. That depletion region will act as a dielectric material and forms a parallel plate capacitance. But one thing we have to understand here, the C mu value will be very small because the reverse biased junction offers more depletion width. Okay, if the width is more, then the capacitance is less. Okay, normally R mu is in order of mega ohms and can be neglected because the value of R mu is very large. We can represent with the open circuit, and the C mu value is usually smaller than the C pi. Okay, as we have already discussed, but we need to show the C mu value in the equivalent circuit because of the Miller effect. Okay, actually the value of C mu is very small. We can neglect, but we cannot neglect due to the Miller effect. What is that Miller effect? We will see in the next video. Okay, so here R mu is the reverse biased resistance, okay, diffusion resistance, and C mu is the reverse biased junction capacitance. When we combine all these three parts of our hybrid pi equivalent circuit, we will get the complete hybrid pi equivalent circuit, which was given like this. Okay, so base terminal, internal base terminal, emitter terminal, internal emitter terminal, external collector terminal, and internal collector terminal. Okay, from the base to virtual base we have RB resistance, and from this internal base to internal emitter we have R pi and C pi capacitances, and similarly Rex is the resistance between internal emitter to external emitter. Okay, and from the collector terminal to the internal collector terminal we have RC, and CS is in parallel with the output, and R naught and GM-V pi are connected between the internal collector to the internal emitter terminals, and there is a R mu and C mu reverse bias or diffusion resistance and reverse bias or diffusion capacitances which were connected between the internal collector to the internal base terminals. Okay, so let us see all the notations once again. RB is the base series resistance, and R pi is the forward bias or diffusion resistance, and C pi is the forward bias or junction capacitance, and Rex is the emitter resistance, and RC is the collector series resistance, and CS is the junction capacitance which is located between the collector terminal to the substrate terminal, and R mu is the diffusion resistance, and C mu is the reverse biased junction capacitance. Okay, so this is the complete hybrid pi equivalent circuit, so which will be used for very high frequency analysis. Okay, but we can simplify this expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit in order to simplify our analysis. Okay, These series resistances RB, REX and RC may be due to the connectors used between the external base to the internal base. We may use some wires to connect the external base to the internal base. Because of the resistance offered by those wires, we may get this RB resistance, and these RB, REX and RC values are very small. Okay, and these junction capacitances are due to the reverse biased and forward biased one. Because of these all resistors and capacitors, our voltage gain will decreases at some particular frequencies like low frequencies. Some capacitance will gives you more reactance, and for high frequencies some capacitance will give more effect. Okay, so based on the frequency, these capacitance will give you that particular effect. Next, we are going to see about the short circuit current gain of the CE amplifier, which was somewhat important topic. The frequency effects of the bipolar transistor can be determined by the short circuit current gain after simplifying the hybrid pi model. Okay, so in order to get the frequency effects, like what is the effect at low frequency, what is the effect at high frequency, can be determined using the short circuit current gain. The expanded hybrid pi model is used to get the short circuit current gain, but we are going to neglect some of the resistances and capacitances in order to simplify. Okay, we are going to neglect the RB resistance, REX and RC, which are the series resistances, right? So these three we are going to neglect because which offers very small resistance like 1 ohm or 2 ohms, maximum of 10 ohms it will offer. And the substrate capacitance CS also can be neglected. Okay, after neglecting these resistors and capacitors, we can rearrange the circuit like this. Okay, so here if you see, we are going to short circuit our output terminal in order to get the short circuit current gain. Okay, so the output terminal is a collector terminal that was short circuited to the ground. In this modified equivalent circuit, the C terminal has been grounded, and at the input side we are assuming that there is a current source IB, and base is represented here. Because of we are eliminating the RB, we are directly showing that it has a B terminal, and C pi is the capacitance between the base terminal to the emitter terminal. And also we are going to neglect the R mu resistance because it offers very high resistance. Okay, that was also eliminated from this simplified circuit. As we have short circuited the output terminal, the resistance in parallel with this short circuit can be neglected. Therefore, we can neglect the small R0 from the equivalent circuit. Okay, this is the simplified equivalent circuit used to get the short circuit current gain of our CE amplifier. Okay, in this equivalent circuit, we have neglected this small R0 resistance. Therefore, the small signal current gain AI can be given as IC divided by IB. So, here IC is the output current and IB is the input current. Okay, so here we are going to write the KCL equation. At this node B, incoming currents are IB and outgoing currents are three currents. So one is the current flowing in R pi, another one is C pi, another one is going to the C mu resistances. Therefore, if you apply the KCL at that node, IB is the incoming current is equal to outgoing currents. The voltage at this node B is V pi. So V pi divided by R pi plus V pi divided by C pi. So which means that the reactance of the capacitance can be written as 1 by j omega C pi plus, and the current flowing in C mu resistor is V pi divided by the reactance of C mu 1 by j omega C mu. In this equation we can common the V pi in the numerator. So V pi has been taken as common. Remaining we have 1 by R pi plus, here the 1 by j omega C pi can be written as j omega C pi, and here also which is equal to j omega C mu. Therefore, we can common j omega from these two terms. After taking j omega as common, j omega into C pi plus C mu we will get. That is the value of IB current equation. And from the KCL at the output side node, if you apply KCL at node C, incoming currents is equal to outgoing currents, like that we will write. Here the incoming currents are equal to, okay, one is the current from the C mu, another one is the IC current from the output side. Okay, and at this node we have only one output current, that is GMV pi. Therefore, the current in the C mu capacitor can be written as V pi divided by 1 by j omega C mu plus one more incoming current from the output is IC, that is equal to in outgoing currents Gm V pi. Okay, therefore we can write this equation V pi into j omega c mu plus Ic is equal to Gm V pi. So from this we can calculate the Ic current. Ic is equal to Gm V pi. If you take this V pi into j omega c mu to the right hand side, that will becomes minus V pi j omega c mu. Okay, so from this we can common the V pi from the both terms. Ic is equal to V pi into Gm minus j omega c mu. That is the output current equation. Okay, so here Ic is the short circuited output current. Okay, from this equation Ic is equal to V pi into Gm minus j omega c mu. We can write the input voltage V pi equation. So V pi is equal to Ic by Gm minus j omega c mu. Okay, that is from Ic collector current equation. So substituting the V pi in Ib equation. So we know Ib is equal to V pi into 1 by R pi plus j omega c pi c mu, which we have already derived. So here we are going to substitute the V pi value. Okay, so V pi is equal to what? Ic divided by this Gm minus j omega c mu. After substituting, Ib will be equal to Ic into 1 by R pi plus j omega c pi plus c mu divided by Gm minus j omega c mu. Okay, that is the value of the base current Ib. Okay, from this one we can calculate the small signal current gain or short circuit current gain. Okay, in this case it is a short circuit current gain, that is nothing but HFE. Okay, the small signal current gain usually designated as HFE. So which is the ratio of output current divided by the input current. Here the output current is a short circuit current IC and the input current is a base current IB. Therefore AI is equal to IC divided by IB, which is nothing but HFE. That is equal to, so from this equation we can write IC divided by IB, which is the reverse of this entire term. Therefore Gm minus j omega c mu divided by 1 by R pi plus j omega c pi plus c mu. This is the short circuit current gain of the CA amplifier section. Okay, so if you assume that typical parameters values like c mu is equal to 0.05 picofarads and Gm is 50 milliamperes per volt and the maximum frequency of f is equal to 500 megahertz, then we can see that the omega c mu is very much less than Gm. So here omega c mu is very much less than Gm, so that we can neglect the omega c mu in the equation. Okay, so when we use this typical parameter values c mu, Gm and f, we can say the omega c mu is very much less than the Gm value, so that we can neglect the omega c mu, which means that j omega c mu from the above equation, and the short circuit current gain HFE can be written as Gm divided by 1 by R pi plus j omega c pi plus c mu. Okay, so here if you take LCM for the denominator, okay, which is equal to R pi, that will go to the numerator also, which becomes Gm into R pi divided by 1 plus j omega R pi c pi plus c mu. Okay, so this is the HFE equation. So here the Gm R pi will be equal to the beta value. Okay, so beta divided by this entire equation will be the HFE value. Therefore the beta is the low frequency current gain. The corner frequency, which is also the beta corner frequency, f beta, in this case can be given as, if you replace this one like omega is equal to 2 pi f, we can get it like f beta is equal to 1 by 2 pi R pi into c pi plus c mu. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to assume the f beta is equal to 1 by 2 pi R pi into c pi plus c mu. Okay, here I am expanding this omega as 2 pi f. Therefore I can get f by f beta in this denominator section. Okay, therefore the denominator section will be equal to Gm R pi divided by 1 plus j into f by f beta, like that I will get. This is the board plot for the short circuit current gain, and this one is for the graph for the magnitude, and this one is the phase graph. If you see the magnitude plot, the gain is getting decreased at high frequencies, and similarly at high frequencies the phase is getting reversed, which means that minus 90 degrees. Okay, so as the frequency increases, the small signal collector current is no longer in phase with the small signal base current. Okay, so from the phase curve we can understand that the small signal collector current IC is no longer in phase with the small signal base current IB. Actually the IB and IC will be in phase, but from this graph we can understand that at high frequencies the small signal current gain and the input current IB will not be in the phase, which are lagging by 90 degrees. At high frequencies this collector current lags the input current by 90 degrees, okay, which was shown here. Okay, from this graph we can understand that after the corner frequency, beta corner frequency f beta, the gain is getting roll off. Okay, here also at f is equal to f beta, the phase is lagging by the 45 degrees, and more than that frequency the phase is lagging by the 90 degrees. This is about the short circuit current gain of the CE amplifier. So from this analysis we understand that the base current and the collector current are not in phase when the operating frequency is at high frequency range. And we are going to see one problem regarding this short circuit current gain. Determine the 3 dB frequency of short circuit current gain of a bipolar transistor, and also consider the parameters R pi is equal to 2.6K and C pi is equal to 0.5 picofarads and C mu is equal to 0.025 picofarads. And we know that the F beta value, the beta corner frequency, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi R pi into C pi plus C mu. And here if you substitute the values of C pi and C mu, then the value of FB you can get it as 117 megahertz. Okay, so here I have substituted the value of R pi, which is equal to 2.6 kilo ohms, and C pi is 0.5 picofarads and C mu is 0.025 picofarads. Okay, so that it was mentioned with 10 power minus 12. Therefore, the beta corner frequency or beta cutoff frequency of beta is equal to 117 megahertz. Next, we are going to see the cutoff frequency or unity gain bandwidth of the amplifier. Now, we are going to see the cutoff frequency or unity gain bandwidth of the amplifier circuit. This is the frequency response curve of the CE amplifier, short circuit CE amplifier, and F beta is the beta cutoff frequency, and here Ft is called as the cutoff frequency. Okay, so the cutoff frequency of a short circuit current gain of a CE amplifier can be defined as, it is the frequency at which the gain of an amplifier will becomes unity, which means that it is the frequency, Ft is the frequency where the short circuit current gain HFE will be equal to 1. Okay, so the short circuit current gain will be equal to the 1 at Ft frequency. In the magnitude plot, the small signal current gain decreases with increase in the frequency. So in this magnitude plot we can observe that the small signal current gain is decreasing as the frequency is getting increased. After the FB we can observe the gain rolling. At frequency f is equal to Ft, the gain will drops to 1, so which is called as the cutoff frequency of that amplifier. Okay, the cutoff frequency is also called as figure of merit of an amplifier. So here the figure of merit is a measure to determine the performance of the amplifier. So the figure of merit is a benchmark for the amplifier in order to decide which amplifier is the best amplifier. Okay, so we are going to get the bandwidth at the gain is equal to 1, so which is called as the gain bandwidth product. Okay, so this gain bandwidth product is also called as a figure of merit, which is used to get the performance of an amplifier. So the figure of merit of an amplifier is going to calculate at gain is equal to 1. Okay, so that it is also called as gain bandwidth product. Okay, here the figure of merit which decides the performance of an amplifier. If we are selecting an amplifier, the figure of merit of an amplifier is used to select that particular amplifier, whether it is working fine or whether it reaches to our requirement or not. Okay, based on that we will select that particular amplifier. So here the figure of merit characterizes the performance of the amplifier circuit. We know that the short circuit current gain of a CE amplifier, which is nothing but a HFE, that is equal to Gm into R pi by 1 plus j omega R pi into C pi plus C mu. That is the value of the HFE in the short circuit CE amplifier. And assuming the cutoff frequency f beta, which is a beta cutoff frequency, which is 1 by 2 pi R pi into C pi plus C mu. Okay, here I am assuming this omega is equal to 2 pi f. Okay, so that we will have the 2 pi into R pi into C pi plus C mu, and remaining here we have j and f terms. Okay, so j f divided by f beta will come to us. Okay, so here the gain equation can be written as HF is equal to beta naught by 1 plus j into f by f beta, and here beta naught is nothing but gm into R pi. That is the current gain of our CE amplifier. So we can calculate the magnitude of the HFE like modulus of HFE is equal to beta naught by square root of 1 plus f by f beta whole square. So here we are going to eliminate the imaginary term j, so that we are going to take the modulus here. After taking the modulus, the gain equation will be equal to beta naught by square root of 1 plus f by f beta whole square. At cutoff frequency ft, the HFE will be equal to 1. We know that the cutoff frequency is the frequency at which the gain is equal to unity. Therefore, the modulus of HFE is equal to 1. Okay, so that is equal to beta naught by square root of 1 plus ft by f beta whole square. Instead of f, we are going to substitute ft, because at ft only the gain is equal to 1. Normally, the beta naught is very much greater than 1, which implies that the cutoff frequency ft is very much greater than f beta. So that we are going to neglect this 1 from this denominator section, because the 1 is very small than ft and f beta values. Okay, therefore this equation will becomes like beta naught by square root of ft by f beta whole square. We can cancel square and root. Therefore the equation will be equal to beta naught into f beta divided by ft. Therefore from this one we can write the cutoff frequency ft is equal to beta naught into fb, and from this we can write the corner frequency f beta is equal to ft by beta naught, just rearranging that equations. Okay, so these two equations are very important for doing problems. And the frequency f beta is called as the bandwidth of the transistor, or it is also called as the corner frequency, and the cutoff frequency ft is the gain bandwidth product of the transistor, or more commonly it is called as the unity gain bandwidth, because the gain at ft will be equal to unity. Therefore it is called as gain bandwidth product. The cutoff frequency ft is the gain bandwidth product of the transistor, or more commonly it is called as unity gain bandwidth, because at f is equal to ft the gain will be equal to 1. And here the ft is a function of IC, and the gm is directly proportional to the IC collector current. Therefore we can write the ft, which is equal to beta naught into fb. We already know the value of fb from the last derivation, that we are going to substitute here. Ft is equal to beta naught into 1 by 2 pi r pi c pi plus c mu. So here the beta naught is nothing but gm into r pi. So beta naught can be written as gm into small r pi. Therefore this r pi and r pi will get cancelled. We will have gm divided by 2 pi into c pi plus c mu. That is the ft equation. Okay, because f beta is equal to 1 by 2 pi r pi into c pi plus c mu, and beta naught is nothing but gm into r pi. This is the cutoff frequency of our CE amplifier, which is also called as unity gain bandwidth, or the figure of merit of our circuit, which is a very important concept. Now we are going to see one problem regarding the same. Calculate the bandwidth f beta and the capacitance C pi of a bipolar transistor, and take the transistor parameters ft is equal to 20 GHz, IC is equal to 1 milliamperes, and beta naught is equal to 120, and C mu is equal to 0.08 picofarads. Therefore, we know that the equation f beta is equal to ft by beta naught. Okay, and the ft was already given, which is equal to 20 GHz, and we need to find f beta, and beta naught value is also given. Therefore, 20 gigahertz divided by 120 we are going to write. F beta is equal to ft by beta naught, which is equal to 20 into 10 power 9. Ft is 20 gigahertz divided by beta naught is 120. That is equal to 167 megahertz. That is the value of the bandwidth of the circuit, and the transconductance Gm will be equal to Ic divided by Vt. So here Ic value was given as 1 milliampere and Vt value is the 26 millivolts for room temperature, which is nothing but 0.026. Okay, then the value will be equal to 38.46 milliamperes per volt. That is the Gm, transconductance of our amplifier circuit. Therefore, the C pi capacitance is determined from the equation Ft is equal to Gm divided by 2 pi into C pi plus C mu. From this equation, we are going to get the C pi value. Okay, and remaining all values we know. Ft value is 20 gigahertz and the Gm value is 38.5 milliamperes per volt, and 2 pi C mu value was given as 0.08 picofarads. Okay, after substituting all the values, we can get the C pi value like 0.226 picofarads. Okay, this is how we have to do the problems in the examinations. In the next class, we are going to see the Miller effect and Miller capacitance.